to a. Okay, the question was asked to me about the course pack. Now, what I'm going to do, I did receive an email about the course packs. They are supposed to be mailed to you all. You all were supposed to get an email from, I believe it was Candace Carl Newsom, and she had a questionnaire on there for you to fill out. And they're supposed to mail out the course packs based upon the questionnaire that you sent out. Now, I'm not sure if you did not receive that email. If you, okay, I see one student says that theirs will be here tomorrow, well, today by UPS. So you just need to go through your JC email and fill out that questionnaire. Now, here's the thing, it's only one person that's actually doing the course packs, and that is for all of the math courses. I'm not sure if that's for every course at JC. So you may get your course pack a little later. But see, with me recording the session and you also having a camera or whatever, when you get your course pack, most of the items in your course pack is already written. You only will have to fill in certain parts of your course pack. So it's not like you will find yourself writing a book once you get your course back. You would just have to take maybe about 10, at most 20 minutes, depending on how much we cover. That would be the most you would have to transfer the information from the video to your course pack. So if you filled out that questionnaire survey, don't worry about it. It's going to come soon. And we're also supposed to get a list from Ms. Newsom telling us who she sent course packs out to. So if your name is not on that list, then I will let you know. I'm not sure if who has it and who doesn't yet until she sends me that list. But I see someone said that the course packs are at the bookstore today as well. So you might be able to go over to the bookstore and get it if you're near campus. But I know that I believe they had on the survey, I believe they had it where you could pick which way you wanted to get it, whether you wanted it mailed or picked up at the bookstore. So, so did you all have any questions about that? Did I answer the question for the person who had
Sorry.
the question as far as you getting the course pack? Okay, I'm assuming that silence means a yes. Okay, now there is another option that you can do as well, but I would not suggest this uh, for the whole course pack on Alex. Once you sign up for Alex, the book is actually on Alex as an ebook. Now you can print off a couple pages if you so choose, but I would not print off that whole course pack. I wouldn't do that because that would be a lot of paper, and you could run into some copyright issues too from you printing their whole book. So I wouldn't suggest that. All right. Um, let's see. Okay, so now I want to go to Alex. I want to sign everyone up for Alex. Now, whether you're on this Big Blue Button session or you're listening to this on from a link that I sent you, in order to sign up for Alex, you either need a computer or you can use your cell phone. Either one is good to sign up for Alex. Okay, so one thing I do need to pull up real quick before we go through signing up for Alex. I need to pull up your syllabus because I need the course code. So let me pull up the syllabus. All right. So now the syllabus has been pulled up.
Jerome, I'm just seeing the big blue button screen.
Oh,
Do you have syllabus on your screen?
oh, I'm about to share the screen now.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's no problem. It's no problem. I was just pulling it up so that when I shared the screen, oh, you know what? There's one thing that I didn't do here. Let me go back here. I was supposed to click share audio. So, okay. So now as you see here, I have a split screen. The reason why I have a split screen is so that I won't have to keep jumping back and forth from the different screens. So let me go here to alex.com. Okay, now I'm going to expand this a little bit. Okay, now with alex.com, you would need to, if you have not signed up yet, you have to click on sign up because you will be a new student. And then here you will have to put in your class code. Now your class code is actually on the syllabus. Move this back over here. Just show you where it is on the syllabus. It's right below my email address. So you would need to type in these values here. This ARUQY and then the AXHW6. All right. Melina, you're breaking up. So if you could type in the chat um, your question, I'll be able to answer it because I can't hear you. All right. So let me type in the course code. So we get ARUQY. And it doesn't matter if it's capitalized or lowercase. So we got AXHW6. And then you press continue. All right, now, once you type in that value here, if you notice here, the class code comes up to class, then it also has my name, and it also has our class dates. So this lets you know you're in the correct class. You'll click confirm, and then now, if you have never had an Alex account before, you will click no, I have never used Alex before. If you have an Alex account already, you will click yes and then type in your username and password. Okay, but we're going to assume that you don't have an account. So I'll press continue. And then here you have to use your first and last name. You don't have to provide a middle initial. Now, one thing I do want to say, there are, some students that like to go by a preferred name instead of the name that's on my roster. If you have a preferred name, that's fine if you use your preferred name here on Alex. But you do need to let me know that you do have a preferred name so I could, match your name up with the name that's on my roster so I know who I'm grading. Okay, now with the email, I really don't care which email that you put down. The only thing that I request of you with the email is that you use the email that you actually check. That is like my only requirement for that. Please put down one that you actually check. So now, with that being said, you will put down your email address and then you do not need your student ID. That's not a requirement. And then you will put down a password and then you will verify your password. Now, let me explain to you about the password. You need to text your password to yourself or write it down somewhere. Because if you lose your password, I do not have access to your password. So I'm just asking you to please, 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 please text your password to yourself. So you will have it someplace that you will remember where it's at. Okay, now after you fill out all of this, you will click on I agree, and then you will click continue. Now, because I'm not a student, I won't go any further than this. But when you go to your next screen, most likely they're going to give you your username. And what you should do with that username is also text that to yourself or take a picture of it, because you cannot change your username. Whatever username you're given, that is the username that you will have to use. Does everyone follow that? Okay. So now, once you are signed into Alex, then the next thing that I would do, I'm going to go into Alex right now. I'm just going to do a brief overview of Alex. Okay, class, this was a little unconventional way of starting the class, but let's go here because I thought it was very, very important that everyone signs up for Alex. But let's get a feel for the class before we go over our lessons for today. Okay, first of all, you're supposed to go to JetNet to Math 130A.I1 Fall 2021, which is shown on the screen here. Now, this class is a co-requisite class and is taught by myself, Mr. Gibson, for the Math 130 portion, and Miss Stewart, Miss Elaine Stewart, who's teaching the 040 portion of the class. Now, although you will get 2 separate grades for this class, we actually work together in trying to ensure that you all do an excellent job and be able to pass the developmental and college course that's part of this co-requisite. Now, I did send out a video about an introduction to the class, but I'm going to briefly go over some of the elements of JetNet, some of the elements of Alex before we actually get into our lesson for today. But before I do, Ms. Stewart, would you like to say anything to the students?
No, I'm good. I'll just listen too.
Oh, okay, no
I showed
problem.
on my page yesterday, unless you, well, there were a lot of people that weren't here yesterday. So anybody have questions for me? Samantha's typing.
Okay. All right. I do see a student is typing. Oh, okay. Samantha.
Confused. Oh, my classes, are you talking about, Samantha? Okay. Um, I have my own separate class, the course Math 040 I1 under your courses. So at the top of that page, I have a Zoom link. So if you're able to attend live, that's wonderful. If you're not able to attend live, I have the recordings posted to JetNet as soon as possible. Now, I know a few people had trouble accessing the videos because it said it was too large. Believe me, I feel very bad about that. I'm not sure why it ended up so large. It was only maybe an hour and a half worth of video yesterday. So I'm working on that. But if you're not able to attend my class live, you can watch the video after, and that's also in JetNet. So wherever I cover it, whatever week it is, it's in that week, and I give it the date that it happens. Like yesterday's was Monday, 8:30 Zoom session. And you click on that and it's a live link. That help? You're welcome.
Nicole,
So
are you asking what time is Miss Stewart's class?
mine's the same time, 1 to 3, same time as Jerome's, and although I'm just on Zoom, so you need to go to my class to click on the Zoom link. And it's the same link each time at the top of the page.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
Okay, great.
Help each other out. Good job.
Oh, yes, that's great. Okay. Now, as we go through this course, I want to tell you all this here. I know that traditionally, when I've taught a co-requisite course, there have been a lot of students that bypass the 040 course and think that, well, as long as I do well in a college course, the 130, that I don't have to do much in the 040 course. But I'm going to tell you this here, that this is basically how this co-requisite is set up. Miss Stewart is the star and I'm the co-star. Let me explain what I mean by that. The reason being is this here. Miss Stewart's class, her class helps you in order to be able to pass the Math 130 class. It's not only teaching you the skills for 040, trying to develop the skills that you may have some issues with, it also is preparing you for the college level course. So, whereas you come to my class and we go over a lot of the material, you have more time in Miss Stewart's class to actually get into the meat of it and to also get into your specific area that you need assistance with. So that is why I say she's the star, because if you go to her course and do everything in her course that she's trying to get you all to do, then when you get to my course, it's not going to be that difficult. So that is why I would tell you all, please, if you can, if you have to choose between coming to a session, because I know that even though we have the 1 to 3 o'clock sessions, they are not mandatory, but highly recommended. And I'm just saying everyone should try and attend all 4 sessions during the week. But if you cannot, I would strongly suggest that you go to the 040 sessions, and then if you need to, you could watch the videos for the 130. I'm saying if you cannot attend all of them, because I think the 040 actually helps out a lot more. Does everyone follow that?
I appreciate you saying that. I do agree that 040 is a good class. Very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yes, it is. Okay, now let's go through the JetNet and then also the Alex, because I want to get all of this talking about the mechanics of the class done before 2 o'clock. So we will have about 50 minutes to go over the content for today. Okay, so basically when you get to JetNet, you have the welcome, and you can read that at your leisure. And then we have the introduction video. Now, the introduction video you could watch, and it goes over a lot of the things that I'm going to restate here. Okay, so now we have the cam scanner app. Now I know that Ms. Stewart mentioned to me that if you have an iPhone, it has an app already on there that you could use in order to scan some of your documents. Now, in this course, you're going to be doing worksheets and projects that need to be turned in to JetNet. Now, you would need to scan after you print them out or get your packet and write on it. You're going to need to scan your worksheets and or projects, scan them and send it to JetNet as a PDF to turn it in. Now, if you do not know how to use the Cam Scanner app, I do have a video here. It's not me doing the video. It's actually my colleague Alana Tuckey that's doing the video. It shows you how to download Cam Scanner and also how to navigate Cam Scanner and use it. Okay, I see that it looks as though Nikki, you have a question. Oh, okay. All right. Now I see in the chat here, someone says they have the Adobe app. Is that okay? As long as it can be transferred as a PDF and you can upload it, yes, it's fine. Yes, that would be fine. Now, Miss Stewart, what is the name of the app on the iPhone?
So it comes as part of the notes in the iPhone, like the little box that says notes. And I went over it yesterday and it is in the recording, but if you have trouble with it, let me know and I can show you again tomorrow.
Okay.
Only because that video seems a little long. But it's part of your notes that is already built into the phone.
Okay. Okay. Great. 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 Okay. So now, as far as turning into worksheets, again, the worksheets and projects, you can use whatever scanner type of app that you want as long as you can convert it to something that you can upload and that I can open, which is typically a PDF. I would prefer it be a PDF because I could definitely read that. Okay, now the course syllabus,
I have a quick question. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no problem.
So I had a question about the worksheets because I did watch the video that you uploaded to JetNet about the introduction to the course and how there's the worksheets and there's the actual online link to them and it brings up the Word document. Are those the same worksheets from our course pack that we're going to be taking pictures of and downloading? Because I was kind of confused as to how we just get the individual worksheet out of the Word document as to just like fill in that portion.
Okay, that is an excellent question, but give me one quick second. I got to switch from instructor to student because I want this to look as much like what you all encounter on your end as possible. Okay, so I
Okay,
was just at
thanks.
the cam scanner. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, now as far as your question goes, with the worksheets, if you have been sent the worksheet from JC, if you have the packet that says course pack worksheets and reviews and everything, you could just basically take the pages out of there, write on them, scan them, and upload them. But as far as the video that I showed you with the worksheets, I'm going to get to that in just a second, and I will answer that question for you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Nikki, did you have a question? Oh, okay. All right. So the course syllabus, I'm going to go over a little bit later, just after I finish everything on this page, and then I'll go over the syllabus. Okay, the Alex sign up, I already just went over that earlier in the video. You could just rewatch the earlier part of the video. Now, if you are in a different class than my online class, your course code is on your syllabus under my email. You have to use a different course code, but the sign up is the same for Alex. Now, the Alex homework, and I am going to get into an explanation of the homework, but basically this is a link that would just take you to the Alex website. So you will click that link and then you will use your username and password and sign into Alex, and then you can start your homework. Okay, now YouTube videos. Now there are going to be two sets of videos. The videos that I'm going to send you via email, because even if you attended the class today, I'm still going to send out a general email to everyone that will have the video of the class today. So if you need to rewatch it, you can. If not, that's fine. But let's just say you watch the video that I do today and you don't fully understand how I'm teaching it, or you just want a different perspective of it. You could click on YouTube videos here, and this would take you to the channel of the lead faculty of Math 130, Mr. Eric Brown. And then you can look at his videos as well. It's still covering the same content that we will be covering today. And you could go to the different section numbers that he have, and it will cover that content. So that is just another tool for you to use for this course. Now, the projects. There are actually 4 projects that you will have to complete for this class. When you click on that link for the projects are actually down here. They are the Word documents, but they also have some Excel documents that goes with the project. So Unit 1 project also has these 2 Excel files that goes with them. So you will have to complete your Unit 1 project and also these Excel files in order to get full credit for your Unit 1 project. And if you notice, there are Excel files for each one of the projects except for Unit 3. All the rest have Excel files to go along with them. Now, if you want to see how the grading is done for the projects, you could click on the projects 1 through 4 grading rubric, and that will let you know how these projects will be graded. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is this here. Let me go back. So we did the projects. Now we come to the worksheets. Now, you are supposed to get a physical packet of worksheets, but if you do not receive that physical packet, we do have it online as being digital. So whether you do an online digital or receive it in person, you still are supposed to write on those pages and then scan them and upload them. And I will show you how to scan it. Well, I will show you how to upload. The CAM scanner video will show you how to scan. But now with the worksheets, you could click here. And now this is the worksheets. It has a course pack, worksheets, quizzes, and reviews. Now, just to let you know, the worksheets for this class actually start on page 60. They start on page 60 and they go to page 99. Okay, now, if you do not remember that the worksheet starts on page 60, if you look here at the second page, it tells you the worksheets for Math 130 starts on page 60. But as you see here, the Math 040 worksheet starts on page 3, and the 040 quiz starts on page 38. So we have a table of contents here. But if you're doing the Math 130 worksheets, you need to start on page 60. So let me go here. You could just type in 60 at the top here, and then it has the Math 130 worksheets. And then you could start with these worksheets. Now, you have a choice here. These worksheets are PDF. So if you do not receive the physical worksheets from the bookstore, then what you would need to do is print out the pages that you need to work on, or if you have the Adobe, what is that? I think it's Adobe Pro or something like that, where you could physically use your computer to write on a PDF. You could do that as well. But the main thing is you will need to save and upload it. So this is where you would get your worksheets from. Does everyone follow that? Now, to the person that asked me about the worksheets, did I answer your question, or did you have any other questions about the worksheets?
Nope, you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, so now this is the technical parts of this course. Now we're going to get to the actual calendar as far as how this course will go. I put everything in tabs here. So we're in week 1. You will click on week 1. Now, with our Big Blue Button sessions, I just put them as Tuesday and Thursday because I thought that would be easier than trying to put dates. So we're in week 1. This is Tuesday. You will click on Tuesday. You will come to the Big Blue Button session. Now listen, even though the Tuesday and Thursday are in the same week, if you click Thursday on a Tuesday, you will not be in the Big Blue Button session with me because they have different codes for that day. So you must click the correct day. Does everyone follow that? Okay, so this is how you would get to Big Blue Button, and I'm doing this for some of the people that's not here. You will go to your week 1, you could click on Tuesday, and then you could click Join Session. Now, once you click on Join Session, you will need to click on Microphone. And the reason why I want you to click on Microphone is because sometimes you may need to speak. And so I would need you to speak. Please do not click on the headphones. So click on Microphone, and then it's going to ask you, are you going to allow Big Blue Button to use your microphone? And then you would say yes. Okay, so that is how you will actually get on Big Blue Button. Now let me go back here. Okay, oh, it was one other thing I need to show you from Big Blue Button too. Okay, when you're trying to access the videos from Big Blue Button, they will be down here. Because this is our first class session, it says there are no recordings to show because, this is our first class session. So after today's class session, once the video loads up, it will be here. You could just click on it and listen to the lesson if you so choose. But I will be sending a link for the headphones. Now, okay, someone made a good point here. They said I would need to use the headphone. I'm at work every time we have a meeting for both classes. That's fine. You can still put it on the mic, just mute it. Just mute it. You don't have to leave it. You don't have to have it where unless do you have headphones on? Oh, okay. But you know what? Even with you having headphones on, you can even with the headphones on, you can still put it on the mic and just mute it. And the reason why I say that is because of this here. You may one day have a quick question, and then you could dip in, say what you have to say, and then hurry up and hit mute. Because like I said, sometimes when I'm teaching, sometimes I may not be able to see the chat. So that's why I just have you all do the microphone. But if that doesn't work, then because you're at work, I can understand why you would use the headphones. So, okay, now going back here to week 1. Okay, now the next thing, you have what is called lesson checks. These lesson checks are to prove that you are doing your notes in your course pack. And I know that a lot of you do not have your course pack, which was discussed earlier on, but you should be receiving your course pack soon. And if not, we will try and work through this. Okay, so now the lesson check. If you click here, it says attempts allowed is 1. The quiz opened Sunday, August 30th, and it closes on Sunday, September 5th. Now, what you would need to do here is you will click on attempt quiz now, and it says here, enter the answer to question 4 on page 11. So what you would do after we go over the lesson, you would go to question 4 on page 11, and whatever that answer is, you would type it in this blank here. And then it also has here, now listen, you do not type in the $ here or percent or the word. You don't type this in. What you would do is type in the physical number. So let's just say the physical number was $15. You would just type 15 here, and then you would choose the $. So it'd be 15, you would choose the $, and then you would click on finish attempt as your answer. Do not type the $ here. If it was 15%, you would put 15, hit the percent sign, and then that's how you would do it. Does everyone follow that? because if you don't do it that way, it's going to mark you down. Okay, now, going back to week 1 again, we have a second lesson check. Now, typically, both lesson checks are due the same week and same time. So lesson 1, 2, lesson check. Let's see if my internet trying to slow down. Okay, because I had showed this on the video before. But here it says enter the answer to question 6 on page 23. So you would put that answer here. And then if you need one of these answers to go with it, you will put it. Okay, so now that takes care of the lesson check. It's still due on that same date as that first lesson check. Okay, now the worksheet. Remember how I told you that you have to do the worksheet and upload it. Now we're covering section 1.1 and 1.2 this week. So you are supposed to do the worksheets as well, scan them and upload them. So you'll click on 1.1 worksheet. And you notice here it says that it's no attempt and it's not graded. Now these worksheets are going to be due basically on Sunday as well, even though I'm going to have to put the deadline date on here. But this is going to be due Sunday. So after you do the worksheet, you come here and click Add Submission. And then what you would do is you could drag your file and drop it here, or you could click here and choose your file from whatever you have on your computer that you can upload. You would choose your file, type the name of it, and click upload this file, and then it will upload here, and you would click save changes, and then that's how I would receive it. Okay, now, and then section 1.2 is also due. So you would do the same thing, add submission and upload that file. Now, just to let you all know, worksheets are due every Sunday after they are assigned as far as that week. Like this is week 1, is due this coming Sunday. Week 2 would be due the following Sunday after that. So just to keep that, let me see, our worksheets. Yes, worksheets are going to be due every Sunday. Yeah, every Sunday.
It's okay with you that I go over worksheets in my class with them, right?
Oh, yes, it's definitely okay with me. Now listen, I'm just going to be upfront with you all. When I grade worksheets, I'm not grading worksheets per se on right or wrong. Of course, I want you to have it right, but I'm more so interested in how you are attempting the problems. I'm more so grading on completion more so than right or wrong, because the worksheets are supposed to assist you in leading up to you completing the projects and your midterm and final. Does everyone follow that? Okay. Now I want to go here. Still in week 1. So those are basically the assignments, but I think it's week 3. Let me see if I go here to week 3. No, maybe it's week 6. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. I was looking for week 4. And the reason why I'm looking for week 4 is because in addition to the check assignments and the worksheets, you also have your Unit 1 project. Now, Unit 1 project, you basically do the same way like I told you with the worksheets. You would do those, you would do the project, the complete project, scan, and upload it. and I have to change the due date because I mean yeah, I have to change the due date because as you see, the due date is May 23rd. But don't worry about that. If you ever encounter an assignment that the due date is past due, you can still submit it. And if that is not the correct due date, you still would get full credit. But if it is the correct due date, you may get partial or no credit depending on how late you turned it in. But this right here is definitely not the correct due date. All right. So that is basically it for as far as JetNet is concerned. There is a midterm that you would have here. Oh, here it is here. It's in week 8. Now, I want to give you all an assignment over the weekend that I would like for you to try. I want you to try this Respond This practice quiz from week 8. And you have 20 minutes. Now listen, this practice quiz with Respondus is just basically testing your computer to see whether or not your computer works with Respondus. Respondus is what we're going to use to do the midterm and final. If your computer works with Respondus, fine, good, there's no problem. So whenever you take your exam, you will be able to use Respondus. But if your computer does not work with Respondus, then you need to let me know as soon as possible so we can make adjustments to how we will have you take your midterm and final. So I would just say over the weekend, just go to week 8 and try to respond this practice quiz. Does everyone follow that? All right. Now, the midterm, we're going to cover that a little bit later, but the main thing is the responders. Okay, now, I want to talk about the syllabus. Let me see if I could pull up the syllabus. All right. Now, the syllabus. I'm not going to go in, too much detail with the syllabus because you can ask me more detailed questions later, but I am going to go over portions of the syllabus with you. Okay, first of all, with the syllabus, the class is 4 credits. I'm your teacher, Mr. Gibson. We meet Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2:50, and we do it on Big Blue Button. The best way to contact me is either email or my cell phone. Now, I have to provide my office phone. If you call the office and I'm in the office, I will answer the phone. I'm not saying I won't answer the phone. The issue is if you call the office on the days that I'm not in the office or the times I'm not in the office, it may take a few days. Like, for instance, I'm not in the office on Thursday. So say you decide to call the office phone number like Thursday at 4 o'clock and I'm not there and I have a message. It may take me a little while before I'm able to get that message. But if you call me on my cell phone or text me on my cell phone, I have my phone with me all the time. So I will be able to contact you. I'll be able to answer your questions. So we already went over the class code in my email. Now, if you want to come to my office hours, my office is in McDivitt Hall, James McDivitt Hall, and my office number is 245. And then that you will have my in-person office hours is 9:30 to 11 a.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. 9:30 to 11 a.m. Monday and Wednesdays. Now, as far as meeting me online, there are 2 opportunities you have. For this class here, we're already in it, 1 to 3 o'clock. So, I may get some students during this time that may come in from another class and may, oh, can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Someone said they think that I was muted. So, okay. Um, all right. So let me just say this. You may have to sign out and sign back in. Hold on. All right. Okay, now, since we are already in class at 1 to 3, like I said, I may have other students come in here and they may have questions, but I'll make sure that if they're not part of the class, they need to type in the chat and not really be talking during the class time. Also, I have a class later on tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. If one of you decided to come to that class session, you would need to type in the chat to ask your questions, and I would definitely get to the question you may have. Now, one other thing. If you are not in one of the Big Blue Button meetings that I have, and you have a question and you want to come to one of those times, you need to let me know the day of that you want to do it, because I would need to send you a link to that Big Blue Button session. So so you would be able to get in, because those links change every day. So I'm just letting you all know you will have to give me a little notice, at least that day before the class start, and I will definitely shoot you the link. Okay, now, course description, prerequisite, course goals, course objectives, those you can read at your leisure, and the textbook, and then the extras. Let me see. Now, we talked about Respondus. Just to let you know, Respondus is what we're using. Is really a lockdown browser. So basically, it's almost like, well, it's basically you're being recorded while you're taking the exam, because this is an online class, and then some of you may not be able to make it on certain exam days. So we have Respondus lockdown browser that you will be able to take the test to keep everything above board. Now, the grading procedure, just to let you all know, you need a 2.0 to pass this class. A 2.0, the lowest grade you could get for a 2.0 is a 70%. So you need a 70% or higher in order to pass this course. Okay, and then this is the breakdown of the assignments. We have class participation, which is basically those check assignments. And then we have the online Alex Pie, which I'm going to show you. The online Alex Pie is basically the homework that you would have to do. And then we have the worksheets, projects, midterm, and final, which I showed you the worksheets, projects, midterm, and final. And if you notice here, if you look at the category that has the largest grade, if you combine all 4 projects, that's 50% of your grade. So 50% of your grade is all 4 of the projects combined. Okay. Now, the failure, academic honesty, plagiarism, you can read those at your leisure. Cheating, same thing. Accessibility, we have the websites here, links here that tells you if you have any type of disability, or if you have any type of previous accommodations, you can contact the accessibility website of the Center for Student Success in order to receive those services, or be told how to get those services. All right, help. You have my office hours. You have the Center for Student Success. You have Alex. You have each other. And then you also have, aside from our office hours, you have myself and Miss Stewart that can help you during class as well. Now, academic advising, this is further about accommodations. The student responsibility, it just gives a breakdown of what you're responsible for concerning the grades. Now, the attendance policy, now, even though it's not required that you have to be physically here in the class, and I'm only talking to the online class, face to face, you have to physically be there. But even though it's not a requirement that you be here, you do have to continue to do work that shows that you're still participating in the class. Okay, also, it was not listed here, but as far as extra credit goes, the math department policy is there's no extra credit. So I'm just letting you all know that there will be no extra credit. And then it gives the breakdown, here it gives the breakdown of the calendar. And our midterm, as you see here, would be the week of October 18th. And then our final is the week of December 13th. Then we have our important dates. Labor Day is this coming Monday. And then we have the Thanksgiving holiday. And then the end of the fall semester is Saturday the 18th. Now for this class, the final would have to be actually the 16th, I believe. Be the 16th of December. Okay, so that is basically it from the syllabus. Were there any questions from the syllabus? Okay, now I want to go here to Alex. Let's see if it's still up. Oh, I gotta sign back in. Okay, I want to go to Alex real quick. So I want to show you just a few features in Alex. And I think once you see these features in Alex, I think you be able to understand this very quickly. Okay, so with Alex here, of course you would click on your class. Now I told you all about the course pack here. This book will come up here and you could click on it and it will give you the book for the class. This is the actual course pack for the class. So it'd be 1-1 given 110%. As you see here, this is what we'll be using. Okay, now you're supposed to physically get that through the mail, but if not, you do have the ebook version here on Alex. Okay, next, I want to go to assignments, and I want to talk about the different type of assignments here. Okay, now, you have the initial knowledge check. Now listen, the initial knowledge check is very, very important because the better you do on that, the less homework you have to do in the class. Because the better you do on the initial knowledge check will give you more points towards completing your PI, which is basically you're mastering the different subjects. So the better you do, the less work you will have to end up doing. So now, just to let you know, you have the initial knowledge check, and then all you would do for the Math 130 is the unit lessons, and then the post-objective knowledge check. So it's the unit lessons, post-objective knowledge check. And basically that's all you will have to do as far as for 130 up until you get here to the Pi Progress end of the semester. And then you will be able to open it and see what your Pi Progress is. So again, you do the initial knowledge check, the unit lessons, the post-objective knowledge check, and then the Pi Progress at the end of the course. Now, the quizzes that you see here, the quizzes are only for 040, which is a good thing because that gives you more practice to be able to pass the 130. And like I said, 040 to me is the cornerstone that will help you be successful in both of these co-requisite courses. So you still have to do the quizzes, but the quizzes will count towards your 040 grade, but not your 130 grade. Does everyone follow that? And also, I'm glad I said this. Speaking of grades too, the grade that you see in ALEKS is not your final class grade. The grades that you're going to see in JetNet, that would be your most current grade. For example, say you was getting a 50% on ALEKS, but then you look over at JetNet and you had like an 80%. And just to let you know, I will be updating grades every Monday. So say this is a Tuesday, and say I updated the grade, and you see on JetNet you're at an 80%, but on my math lab you're at a 50%. Trust the JetNet grade. That is the grade that I will go when it's time to mark your reports at the end of the semester. That is the grade that I will be using from JetNet, not from ALEKS. Now, what I am going to use from ALEKS is whatever your Pi score is, that is going to be the grade that I will put in for the homework that's on JetNet. So whatever that percent is, that will be the grade used for that. So that's basically it for ALEKS. Oh, one other thing. If you notice here on ALEKS, it has due dates. So you need to pay close attention to those due dates so you won't miss them. Now, the initial knowledge check, there is no due date here, but you should do that ASAP. And please don't skip that, because if you skip that, you may possibly find yourself having to do every single one of these lessons instead of being able to bypass them because you did so well on the initial knowledge check. All right, so are there any questions? Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then when we come back, we're going to start our lesson today. Okay, class, we're about to start our first lesson from Math 130. It's lesson 1-1, given 110%. And it starts on page 5. Our learning objectives is to perform conversions and calculations involving percents, to find percent increase or decrease, to solve problems using percents, evaluate the legitimacy of claims based on percents. Okay, now, if we look down here at the bottom, it says, surely you're familiar with the word percent, but have you ever thought about what it literally means? Percent can be translated literally as per 100. Now, the word per means divided by. So 1% is 1 divided by 100. So percent means divided by 100. So 1% is 1 over 100. For example, the National Coffee Association reported that 78% of Americans who drink coffee do so mostly at home. Of those folks, 61% describe the coffee they prefer as gourmet. This tells us that 78 out of every 100 coffee drinkers consume coffee at home, and that 61 out of 100 describe their coffee as gourmet. To work with percents in calculations, we will need to convert them to either decimal or fractional form. But to interpret the answers to calculations, we will want to convert them back into percents. Now let's take a look here at problem number 1. It says, using the fact that percent means per 100, write 84% and 9% as fractions with denominator 100. So we will have 84% and 9%. They want us to write this as with a denominator of 100. So it's 84 divided by 100, and then 9 divided by 100, because percent means divided by 100. Now, this is one of those rare cases where you have a fraction that can be simplified that you do not simplify. This is probably the only problem of this lesson where we have a fraction that we could simplify that you don't simplify. Does everyone follow that? All the rest of these fractions you got to simplify if you can. This is that one case that you do not. Okay, now it says here's a simple rule that can be learned from question 1. Converting a percent to a fraction. To convert a percent to a fraction, drop the percent sign and use the percent number as the numerator of a fraction whose denominator is 100. If you notice that the fraction in the first part of your answer to question 1 could be reduced, good job. When we're working with percents in fraction form, many times it would be easier if the fraction is reduced to lowest terms. Number 2, convert each percent to a fraction in lowest terms. So we have 42%. So 42% is equal to 42 over 100, which we basically did in problem number 1. But this time they tell us to convert this fraction to lowest terms. Now, let me show you this here. If you notice here on my other screen here, I have the Desmos calculator. This is mainly the calculator that we would be using for this course. So you could go to Desmos.com and you could do one or two things. You could sign up for Desmos, or you could just go and just use Desmos at your leisure without signing up for it. It's up to you. So we'll click Graphing Calculator. Now, with this graphing calculator, this is what we can do. Traditionally, if we saw a problem like 42 over 100, you have to figure out what goes into both of them, divide it, then make sure that you took out the greatest common factor of both. But with Desmos, you don't have to do that. With Desmos, you could type in 42 divided by 100, and you notice here that it gave you this decimal, right? But if you click this here, this circle with this fraction, it will give you the simplified fraction. And then, of course, you could keep going back and forth with it if you want to. So just so that we keep the mathematics in this, the hand mathematics, 2 was the highest thing that both had in common. So it'll be 21 over 50, which is what we have in the calculator. Okay, now, it says B, we have 37.5%. Now they give you a hint here, but most of the students I've encountered with this hint, a lot of them do not like the hint. So this is what we're going to do. With this 37.5%, this would be 37.5 over 100. Okay, now we could make that 37.5 because it's a half. But because we have numbers that are repeating decimals, I wouldn't suggest me doing this as a decimal, thinking that you could do that with every problem. So this is how I would suggest that you do this. You take this 37.5 and make it into an improper fraction. So I'm going to go off to the side here. 37.5 written as an improper fraction. You know, you would take the whole number, multiply by the denominator, and add the numerator. So that'll be 75, and you would keep the denominator the same, which is 2. So it'd be 75 over 2. So this here is equal to 75 over 2 over 100. Now, when you have the 75 over 2 over 100, this is what you can do. When you have a fraction over a value, you can multiply the bottom two values together. So it'll be 75 all over 200. Now you could take your Desmos calculator, and you see here it gave you the decimal, but you can hit the fraction key And this answer here would be 3/8. Now, just to show you the mathematics behind this, both of these have 25 in common, and that's how you get the 3/8. Okay, are there any questions so far? Any questions? All right. We move on to problem number 3. It says a lot of times it's especially useful to write a percent in decimal form when doing calculations. So let's see how that works using what we already know about fractions. We know that we can write 12% as a fraction in the form 12 over 100 and 72% in the form 72 over 100. Use a calculator to perform the division in each case, writing the original percent in decimal form. Okay, so basically they want us to put this in a calculator. So we know, we're told that 12%, and we know that that's equal to 12 over 100. Now we're not simplifying this right now because we want to just convert this to a decimal. So we really don't necessarily need to go through the simplification process, but if you want to, that's fine. And also 70% is equal to 72 over 100. Now, if we put these in our calculator, 12 divided by 100, it gives us 0.12, and 72 divided by 100. Now, one thing I like about Desmos is you could just change the number here, and it gives us 0.72. Now we move on. Our next problem at the top of page 7, number 4. It says, use the result of question 3 to fill in the blanks in our next rule for converting percents. Converting a percent to a decimal, it says to convert a percent to a decimal, drop the percent sign and move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So it's 2 places to the left. As a matter of fact, let me shorten this out because I think I can make this a little larger. Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, that looks. Is that a better for you all? Okay. All right, good. All right, so made this a little larger. All right, number 5. It says write each percent in decimal form. Now they want us to use the rule that they just provided for us and that we filled in the blanks for. So it says 41%. They tell us to drop the percent sign. So we have 41%. We drop that percent sign. And it says move the decimal point 2 places to the left. We don't see a decimal here, but it's assumed to be a decimal at the end here. Now, just to clarify something here, you all have dealt with the decimal point not showing possibly all your life. And I'll prove it to you. If I took this here, $5, isn't this the same as this? These are exactly the same. So you knew that there was a decimal there with that 5. So you've always dealt with a decimal being there even though it's not shown. So we have 41. So it tells us to move this decimal 2 places to the left. So our final answer would be 0.41. All right, now we go to B, 6.7%. We drop that percent sign, and we have to move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So it'd be 0.067. Last but not least, we have 120%. We'll drop that percent sign, and the decimal here is at the end. Move the decimal 2 places to the left, and it'll be 1.2, or you could write 1.20. Either one, 1.2 or 1.20. All right, now we come down here. It says sometimes interpreting the story told by a percentage will require conversion in the other direction, starting in decimal form and converting to percent form. Not surprisingly, we accomplish this by doing exactly the opposite of the steps we did for converting from percent to decimal form. The opposite of moving the decimal 2 places to the left is moving the decimal 2 places to the right. The opposite of dropping a percent sign is adding a percent sign. Now it says write a procedure for converting a decimal to percent form. Then use it to convert 0.34, 0.07, and 1.658. So basically, when converting decimal to a percent, so we'll say to convert a decimal to a percent, move the decimal to the right 2 places and add a percent sign at the end. So again, to convert a decimal to a percent, move the decimal to the right 2 places and add a percent sign at the end. Oh, you know, I'm going to the other page and I forgot we have to do these problems. So we have 0.34, 0.07, and 1.658. Okay, 0.34, they tell us to move the decimal to the right 2 places. So it'd be 34, and the decimal is at the end. We don't have to show, so it'd be 34%. Now we go here to the next. We have 0.07. Move that 2 places to the right. That will leave us 7 and put the percent sign at the end. Next, 1.658. Move it 2 places to the right. That'll be 165.8. So it'll be 165.8%. Okay, now we move on to the next page. Now, it's not really anything that we're going to fill out on this page, but it's something here that you all need to pay attention to. It says in the most common calculations involving percents, the goal is to find a percentage of some quantity. To understand how to do so, consider the following example. You probably know that 50% of 10 is 5. Let's rewrite that statement, then turn it into a calculation. 50% of 10 is 5. 0.5 times 10 is 5. So look at this. I'm going to rewrite this. Okay, now this is where we're writing a calculation for a percent. So the first thing we do is notice that we change this percent to a decimal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 0.50 to let you know that you moved it 2 places. I know we don't have to have that 0 at the end, but just so that you can see this. So this 50% becomes 0.5 or 0.50. The word of means multiplication. 10 will remain 10. Is means equal. And then the 5 will remain 5. So this is how they got the equation from this value here. Okay, it says when writing a percentage statement in symbols, the word of becomes multiplication and the word is becomes an equal sign. Also, we need to change the percent into decimal or fractional form. Let's look at some sample calculations using this idea. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next page, which is page 9. If you look down here at the bottom at problem number 8, it says, guess what? The same idea can be used to find a percentage, but it's more straightforward to use division. For example, of the 32 teams in the National Football League, 12 make the playoffs each year. What percentage of teams make the playoffs? So, number 8, it says divide the number of teams that make the playoffs by the total number of teams and write your answer in decimal form. So we have the number that make the playoffs divided by the number of teams. Now, I know you all are, used to seeing this as a hashtag from Twitter, but in my day, we used to call that a number sign. So, okay, so the number of teams that make the playoffs, it tells us here that 12 make the playoffs. So that would be 12. Then it tells us to put the number of teams. The number of teams here is 32. So now they want us to write our answer in decimal form. So we could go right here to this calculator and type in 12 divided by 32. And that gives us 0.375. Now, just to show you the mathematics of it, if you had wanted to do it by hand, you could simplify this by dividing both of these by 4. And I actually didn't leave myself enough space. So I'll write it down here. This would be 3/8. And then you could go off to the side and do 8 goes into 3, a decimal and a few zeros. 8 goes into 3 0 times. 8 goes into 33 times. So 8 times 3 is 24. 30 minus 24 is 6. Bring down your 0. 8 goes into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. 60 minus 56 is 4. Bring down your 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So your answer here is 0.375, the same as what we got out of the calculator. Okay, number 9. It says, based on your answer to question 8, what percentage of teams make the playoffs? So we could take this decimal to 0.375. And we know we need to move this decimal 2 places to the right. So that would give us 37.5 and put the percent at the end. So it'd be 37.5%. Okay, now we go on to the next page. Now, number 1 here on this next page, which is page 10, they're talking about basically you're trying to formulate study groups and you get the name of some of your classmates, phone number, email, and available times. Now, I would just suggest this. If you're going to form a study group and you all want to talk to each other, I would suggest that you could give each other your email, maybe your JC email, give each other your JC email. And as far as a phone number goes, I don't know how comfortable you all may feel about giving your number out to someone that you don't know. So you could go to what is called Google Voice. And Google Voice, you could get yourself a number that would dial directly to your cell phone. And then they could call you like that. But those are just some options. But if you feel comfortable, that's fine. But I'm just telling you some options just in case you don't. Now, you really don't have to do that. But if you do decide to do it, that would be fine. Okay, number 1. It says, let's look further into the idea of giving 110% effort. First, explain why a lot of people feel like that saying doesn't really make sense. And I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense. It sounds good, but you cannot give more than 100% effort. Even if you, quote unquote, push yourself where you're actually doing more than what you normally would do, that becomes your 100%. It does not, there's no such thing as 110% when you're giving your effort. So that is why it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. So basically, 100% is everything. You cannot give more. Okay, number 2. It says convert 100% and 110% into decimal form. Then multiply the result by 200 to find what 110% of 200 is. So we need to change 110% to a decimal. So we'll drop the percent sign, put our decimal at the end here, move it 2 places to the left, and we have 110, 1.10. Or 1.1. So we'll take 1.1 times 200, and that will give us 220. Okay, now it says, suppose that in a normal half hour of practice, a tennis player expends 280 calories of energy. How many calories would she need to expend if she were to give 110% effort? So basically, you want to take the 280 that's being given and multiply it by the 1.1 because you want to see what 110% of 280 is. So when you multiply that out, that gives you 308 calories. All right. Now, page 11. It says, now let's go shopping. If I had $1 for every time someone has asked me to calculate a discount price for them, when a sign advertises a certain percent off, I'd be able to buy us both a very handsome gift indeed. In fact, shopping is one of the most common ways that almost everyone is likely to encounter percents. Since my wife and I have a Macy's credit card, we get coupons from them in the mail pretty often. On one recent mall outing, we found a red dress with a selling price of $79, and we had 2 coupons to choose from. One offers $15 off any purchase of $50 or more. The other offers 20% off any item. Which was the better choice? Okay, so now it tells us first to find 20% of $79. So we're going to change that 20% to a decimal, which would be 0.20. Of will be multiplication, and then the $79 would be the $79. Now when we multiply this out, it would give us $15.80. Okay, now just to let you know how important this problem is, remember when we went over those lesson checks? This problem was on your lesson check. So all you have to do on your lesson check is to type in the 15.80 and then choose the dollar sign and then submit it. So this is your lesson check 1.1. Now this may be the only time that I tell you all which problem is the lesson check, but I just want you all to know how to go about doing it. Okay, number 5, keeping in mind that you just found the amount the price would be discounted, which coupon should Kat have used? So she should, and they say explain, she should have used the 20% off coupon because Cat saves an extra 80 cents. So that is the better deal because she saves an extra 80 cents. Now, the next problem, it says the sales tax in our county is 6.5%. Find the amount of tax on the dress purchase after applying the coupon that you chose and the total cost including tax. Okay, so we had $79. That's how much the initial price was. And then we're going to subtract off the $15.80. And that will leave us $63.20. Okay, now we would take that $63.20 and multiply by the sales tax, which is 0.065. Now, we can put that in our calculator, 63.20, and then times 0.065. And that gives us, now we would have to do some rounding because remember our money system only goes 2 decimal places. So that would be $4.11 would be the sales tax. So we would have $63.20, and then we would add the $4.11 to it. So we would have $67.31 that the dress would cost. All right, now we go on. It says it's common for stores to advertise a certain percentage off, then say discount is reflected in the marked price, leaving you to trust that you're getting the percent off that they claim. Suppose that a refrigerator is listed at 30% off with a sale price of $749. What would that make the original selling price? Okay, so we're saying here that you get 30% off. Now we have to do a little bit of reverse engineering here. So we know if we pay the listed price, that means we're paying 100% of the price. So if you get 30% off, that means you're paying 70% of the original price. So you would take 70% of the unknown original price, and that is supposed to equal to $749. Now we need to solve for the original price. We will divide each side by the 70%. And our final answer, we can put this in a calculator as well. We have 749 divided by 0.7. So that'll be $1,070. It's the original price. Now, number 8, it says a large latte at Shakey's Caffeine Shack usually sells for the low price of just $3.50. But today, Shakey has gone goofy and is offering it for just $3. Wow, why not just give them away? The coffee shop across the street is offering 20% off. Which store is offering the better deal? Okay, so this is what we do. We're trying to find out what percent is Shakey actually offering off. And we're going to use the computing percent increase and percent decrease. So we're looking at the percent decrease here. And I'm going to abbreviate that with PD. Percent decrease goes like this. You would take the new minus the old divided by the old. So the new price at Shakey's is $3. The old price is $3.50 divided by the old price. Or you could say new minus original divided by original. It's the same thing. So right now, this will give you a negative 50 cents divided by $3.50. Now, if we put this in our calculator, we have a negative 0.5 divided by 3.50, or 3.5. Now, we could round this to 3 decimal places. So this would be a negative 0.143. And so this would be approximately a negative 14.3% when we move this decimal. Now, one thing I need to tell you about a percent decrease is this here. Even though your answer is negative, because we're doing percent decrease, you'll still just write it as a positive. Because when you're doing a percent decrease, it's already assumed that it's a negative. So basically, with this only being 14.3%, the 20% off is better. Because Shaky's only giving 14.3%. Now, down here at the bottom, just to let you know, percent increase and percent decrease has the exact same formula. It's the new amount minus the original amount or old amount divided by the original amount. So it's the exact same thing. So now, I do believe, yes, if you all just give me a couple minutes, we will finish up with 1-1. We won't be able to get to 1-2 today, but we only have, it looks as though we only have like 4 problems left. But if you need to get off the video, that's fine, because I'm still going to do these 4 problems and upload them to YouTube and send you the video anyway. And if you stayed here this long, you basically will only need to look at probably the last 5 or 10 minutes of the video. Okay, number 9, it says in 2019, the state minimum wage in Missouri was raised from $7.85 to $8.60. In Massachusetts, it went from $11 to $12. Which state had the higher percent increase? So we're going to compare the 2 states. Okay, so you look here, this is the old, new, this is the old, and this is the new. So we have percent increase, I'll put as PI. So you have the new value minus the old value or original value divided by the original value. And then we come here. This also percent increase. We have the new value minus the old value divided by the old value. So this right here would actually be, what's that, 75 cents? 75 cents over 7.85. And then here, this would be 1 over 11. So we put this in our calculator, 0.75 divided by 7.85. That would give us, I'm going to round to 3 decimal places. That'll give us 0.096, or when we round this, move this 2 decimals to the right, it'll be 9.6%. Now we go here, we'll put in 1 over 11. And then that'll be approximately 0.091. And when we move that 2 places to the right, it'll be 9.1%. So basically, Missouri had the higher increase. All right, now we do not need to do number 10. So we need to go to the back, and these will be the last two problems from this section. Okay, it says here, we would never ever accuse any advertisers of being deceptive. Wink, wink. But let's just say that it's not uncommon for percents to be used incorrectly in marketing materials. Let's look at one such case to close our review of percents. A department store advertised that certain merchandise was reduced 25%. Also, an additional 10% discount card would be given to the first 200 people who entered the store on a specific day. The advertisement then stated that this amounted to a 35% reduction in the price of an item. Explain why the store marketing manager is either a liar or bad at math. Show calculations to back up your explanation. Okay, listen. I'll tell you this quick little story. Before I started, I think it was before I started working at Jackson College, I used to sell Coach purses. So I went to Birch Run, and I would buy them at a very big discount. And so one time I walked up in the store, they gave a 50% discount, and they gave me a coupon for an additional 30% off. So, I got excited. I guess I put, my math brain to the side. But what ended up happening, it turned out it was not 80% off. It was just 30% off of what the discounted price was, which we're going to show here. Okay, so it'll be the extra 10% is off the 25% reduction, not the original item. Okay, so just showing this, let's just say that the original item was $10. So if it's $10, we first got 25% off. So we'll multiply that. So if we got 25% off, that means that we paid 75%. So we'll multiply that by 0.75. So $10 times 0.75 will leave you $7.50. That's how much you would end up paying for that item. Now you would get an additional 10% off. So that means you would pay 90% of this $7.50. So we'll multiply that out. So you will end up paying $6.75. That's how much you will end up paying, with 25% off and then an additional 10% off. Now, I'm going to put a little line here to separate them. Now, according to this, if you thought you were getting 35% off, that means that you believe that you would be paying only 65%. So 10 times 0.65 will leave you $6.50 you would have to pay. So there is a difference between the two values. So, and the reason for that difference is that additional 10% off is off of the already reduced price. So you're not getting as big of a discount. Okay, now we actually have this one last problem, and then we're done for today. Number 12, it says in promotional materials, a company that increased their workforce from 1,000 to 1,500 workers claimed that they hired 50% more workers. A rival of theirs bragged about decreasing emissions from 1,500 to 1,000 cubic feet per day, claiming a 33% reduction. Which company is lying? Explain. Okay, first of all, we know this is the old value and this is the new value. So we're going to do percent increase, which is new minus old divided by old. The new value was 1,500. The old value was 1,000 divided by 1,000. 1,500 minus 1,000 is 500. So 500 divided by 1,000, that would give you 50%. So the first company is telling the truth. Second company, they're going to do a percent decrease. So the new value was 1,000. Well, let me write out the formula. So it'd be new minus old divided by old. The new value here is 1,000. The old value is 1,500 divided by the old value. So this would be a negative 500 over 1,500. Now, when you put this in your calculator, I'm not going to put the negative sign because, as we all know, our final answer has to be written as a positive. So if you notice here, if we round this to 2 decimal places, it'd be approximately 0.33, which would be actually 33%. So technically, they're both telling the truth. So you could say technically, both are telling the truth. But if you want to be exactly accurate, then the second company was off a little bit. So you could say they're the ones that's lying, but they were off by a small amount. Okay, so we are done for today. And then when we come to class, next class period, we will finish up what we didn't complete as far as 1.2. Did you all have any questions before I end this meeting? Okay. Is there anyone still on the line that did not sign up for ALEKS? Okay. All right, Daquan, I know about you. So could you please, if you can later on today, could you please sign up for ALEKS? Okay, Ms. Stewart, you have something you want to share?
Nope, I will be changing the quiz date for 1.2, so don't worry about that. Come see me tomorrow. We have some good notes to take. I hope to see you all in class.
Okay. All right. Well, I will see you all next class, and have a wonderful day. And look out for your email. I should have this email to you no later than 4 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Okay. Bye.